I'm Carl Azuz. Thank you for spending part of your day with CNN Student News. The past week or so, we've reported on two natural disasters, one in the Philippines, the other in the Midwestern United States. In both situations, survivors face a long road of recovery and rebuilding. In the Philippines, the numbers tell part of the story. Nearly 4,000 people were killed, more than 18,000 were injured, and as far as the missing go, 1,600 people still missing. When you're able to get a look from above, like Carl Penhall did for this next report, you start to get a sense of the enormity of the physical damage caused by Typhoon Haiyan.
It's only if you take a video camera into the air that you can begin to get a handle on the true dimension of this disaster. Look around you and imagine how it must have felt standing here on Magallanes Street in Tacloban City as a towering wall of water raced in from the ocean. But take a look. The pictures speak clearly for themselves. Wherever you look, international organizations and government rescue teams are hard at work, pulling away debris, still looking for bodies of the dead, trying to bring relief to the survivors. But seeing the scale here, you begin to understand how daunting a task that will be. It's a task that could take months, maybe years, to rebuild. Carl Penhall, CNN, Tacloban, the Philippines.
When severe weather hit the American Midwest on Sunday, it included reports of 76 tornadoes. The town of Washington, Illinois, took a direct hit. As many as 400 homes in Washington were destroyed or severely damaged. The mayor summed it up simply: devastation, sadness, people that lost everything. Now those people have to find a way to move forward.
I got hit by some debris or something and cut my eye in 3 places.
His wife and children survived too. But this is what happened to their house. Gone. Even they can barely recognize it.
This is my bedroom, right here. I was sleeping on that side of the bed, and when the sirens went off and the wife yelled at me, I jumped up, threw some clothes, my running pants on, and I went through the house. I actually checked here, the kids were all over here, so I went through this way, was my kitchen.
Incredibly, the plates in the kitchen cupboard remain completely intact. The rest of the kitchen destroyed. The home was Mandy Lancaster's dream house.
After you came out of the basement and saw what this tornado did to your house, were you incredulous that you survived?
Yes. I don't know how anybody made it through this.
Mandy did not want her husband to shoot the video, but he was transfixed.
That water tower over there, just to the left of it, is where I started seeing it coming across.
It wasn't until after the tornado hit that Chris joined his family in the basement. The day after, they looked for keepsakes.
The video of my wedding.
And they try to figure out what happens next.
I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do.
It's time for the shout out. The new U.S. ambassador to Japan is the daughter of which president? If you think you know it, then shout it out. Is it John F. Kennedy, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, or George W. Bush? You've got 3 seconds. Go. President Kennedy's daughter, Caroline Kennedy, became the new ambassador this week. That's your answer, and that's your shout out.
As ambassador, Caroline Kennedy is the highest-ranking representative from the U.S. government to Japan. She'll live there, maintaining diplomatic relations between the countries. There's a lot of ceremony involved when anyone starts this particular job. But for some Japanese, Kennedy's name and her family's history with Japan make this especially significant.
Clutching cameras and waving, thousands of Japanese line the streets to watch her daughter fulfill her father's sojourn. She's completing the mission he couldn't fulfill, says Junko Shibazaki. This is significant here. JFK was to be the first U.S. president to visit Japan, but he was assassinated. 50 years later, nearly to the day of his death, his only surviving child made her way through the streets of Tokyo by horse-drawn carriage to the emperor. She passed by many in this crowd who witnessed the first ever live TV images broadcast out of the U.S. to Japan 50 years ago, news coverage of the assassination. Images of the two young Kennedy children seared into the collective Japanese memory. Caroline is like my friend, she says. Of course, we are in totally different worlds, but to me, she is special. Yay! This is the sort of enthusiasm usually reserved for pop stars or the Japanese royal family.
Do you remember anyone ever getting this excited about a U.S. ambassador here in Japan?
Heck no, say the Watanabes, who travel 200 miles to be here. And ask anyone about job qualifications?
Caroline Kennedy doesn't have a lot of diplomatic experience.
That doesn't matter, she says emphatically. She can do the job. This is a country, after all, where bloodlines trump all. Why American Nancy Nichols, who lives in Japan, says this child of Camelot is royalty here.
Making a full circle and closening the bonds that we have, and I think it's great.
After a brief ceremony with Emperor Akihito, Ambassador Kennedy returned to her carriage to begin her path in U.S.-Japan history.
Doing an all-European edition of our Worldwide Wednesday roll call and adding some countries to the map that we haven't visited yet. First up, Hohenfels, Germany, and the Tigers from Hohenfels Middle High School. Next stop is next door in the Netherlands, the Raptors from the Rotterdam International Secondary School. And we'll keep moving west to Harrogate, England, to check in with the Mustangs from Menwith Hill. Former NFL player Donovan McNabb recently said that NASCAR champion Jimmy Johnson is not an athlete. Some of your reactions. Jack says NASCAR doesn't take physical effort. All you're doing is driving around a track. In football, you're running, pushing, jumping, and throwing, which is way more exercise. Andrea's dad used to race and design stock cars and says that drivers are athletes. Imagine spending 3 hours going 140 miles per hour with limited space, getting jostled by every bump, and feeling the constant vibrations of the engine. Killian argues drivers don't have any athletic ability. Call me when they can hit a 90-mile-per-hour fastball. Sage says the G-force that drivers face in their cars is like having hammers pounding on your chest. They are for sure athletes. From Cameron, all you do in NASCAR is sit in a car and drive in an oval. In football, you get tackled and run a lot. Michaela says race cars are totally different than the ones driven at home. They weigh a ton more, and drivers have to maintain a constant speed of about 200 miles per hour around a track while trying to avoid crashing.
Is this legit? Entomology is the study of insects. Nope, not true. That's entomology. Etymology is the study of word histories, an explanation of where words come from.
All right, see if you can identify this etymology example. It's a word that was first used in 2002 in an online forum. It spent a decade popping up here and there on social media, especially photo sharing sites. In the past 12 months, its frequency has gone up 17,000%. Need one more hint? Selfie. The Oxford Dictionary has just picked it as the 2013 word of the year. Here's how that works. The word doesn't have to be new, obviously, but it does have to show a recent surge in popularity. That's where that 17,000% increase comes in. Selfie beat out runners-up like binge watching and Bitcoin. Now it joins past words of the year like podcast, carbon neutral, and unfriend. And we're pretty sure it knows just how to memorialize the moment. There's another social media shutterbug term that's gaining momentum, photobomb. And this cat is taking it to a new level. It's not content to pop up in the background of the shot. When it spotted this local news crew, it jumped headfirst and camera second right into the middle of everything. Seems like it knows how to handle itself on a camera. I mean, check out that black and white balance work. Hopefully the cat has other skills, otherwise this photobombing feline is just a flash in the pan. Could have been the start of a catastrophe. The possibilities for damage might make you shudder. But the camera crew didn't seem too perturbed. A story like that lends itself to a lot of puns depending all on how you frame it.